Hello everyone. So the third match day games are confirmed now, which is Coventry City versus Hull City. But before that, let's take a look to the last week's games, which were Udinese versus Como, and this game was actually draw 1-1. And let's take a look at their stats, scores, and unexpectedly, Udinese actually had higher chance expected goal ratio, but in the end both were 1-1. Actually, the whole game was almost dominated by Como, but it was the draw in the end. Now let's take a look at the Newcastle versus Liverpool, and this game just finished exactly 1 hour ago, and I have watched that game. Last 15 minutes was really intense, actually dominated by the Liverpool. The whole game was actually dominated by the Liverpool. Newcastle's were just trying to defend hard, but they have also made some decent chances and also executed them. So the final score was 2-2, although I think Liverpool actually deserved the win this game, but Newcastle's defense was really good. Credit goes to them. So if we look at the stats, you can directly say Liverpool were dominating this game. And before we move to our next game, just take a look at this game. Remember this, by the way. So let's go. Let's start with their. It's not actually their opening game. They have already played one game each. And Coventry played against Arsenal. They're the championship champions, and their opening game was against the Premier League champions, which was Arsenal, and it was an away game for them, and they lost that 3-0. On the other hand, Hull City played their first opening game of their opening Premier League game in the home against Manchester United, and they won that 2-0. Both of those goals were actually scored by set pieces, but still, and don't think Manchester United was worst in like a few seasons ago. They were actually third in the Premier League last season. So Coventry's last five games, they have won 3 times and draw 1 time and lost the most recent game, which is against Arsenal, which is expected, to be honest. And Hollow City won 2 games and draw 2 and lost a 1 game. Now let's take a look at their preseason games. In the first game, Coventry faces Northampton, and they made it a draw. In their second game, they were Espanyol, and they won that. They won against Monaco, and Monaco defeated Liverpool, as you've seen already. But the last game was against Arsenal, which was Premier League opener, and they lost that. So Hull City actually had a much higher pool of matches, and they won their first game, second game, a draw in their third game, lost against Frankfurt in their fourth game, another draw, actually cross, and in their opening game they actually won that. And if we take a look at the head-to-head, you will see Coventry actually won 3 and Hull City actually won 4 times, and 5 of those games were draw, and last 2 were draw. So the biggest probability is that this game is going to be another draw. So we have already added those 2 teams in our tracker. You can definitely check that out. In the later part, we will also see the tool ourselves. So my pick is Hollow City for this game, but I see a very high chance of a draw in this game. Like last match days, the games were draw, so I can do nothing about it really, because whichever team you pick, it doesn't really matter, because whoever draw means nothing. You are going to get nothing, no extra points from that, same as lost. So before we move to our next game, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So our next game is up against RB Leipzig versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. Hopefully I pronounced it correctly. So RB Leipzig was third in the league last season, and Gladbach was 12th in the league. And you can see the points. There is actually a very high difference between them. And if we take a look at their stats, their stats are actually very much similar in the defense, but in their attack. There is a big difference, and RB Leipzig are in upper hand at that part. You can see. So if we take a look at the summary, Leipzig actually have a new coach in their team, and their many key players are out as well, like Openda and many other. And Gladbach actually retaining their old coach as there is. So last 5 games, Gladbach actually won 2 games and lost 1 and drew 2. Leipzig lost 2 and won 3. So if we look at the preseason, we'll see Gladbach won almost all of their games. But the problem is, look at this second game. You will see they are scoring 8-0 up against a team. But do you know they are just a semi-professional team playing in the German fourth tier. And that league is actually semi-professional. That's not a professional league. Only team I'm seeing here is actually Aston Villa. Aston Villa were 4th in the Premier League last season, and they won that as well. And Leipzig actually played it compared to the Gladbach. So they lost 3 of them and won the last game. But Leipzig actually played against much more stronger teams like Leeds and Bayern Munich. So head to head, in their last 20 games, Leipzig won 11 of them and Gladbach actually won 4 of them. And 5 of those games were draw in the Leipzig's home. And this is a home game for Leipzig as well. So Leipzig's record is 6 win and 4 draw at their home, which is concerning to be honest. Because if they draw, we are getting the same point as loss, so there's no benefit actually of winning and losing. So my pick is obviously Leipzig for this game. And many of you were actually worried that why is our website is like this. Actually, this is because we are updating our website and it was very short time and you might not even notice this. So now we are going to check out our tool and update our results. So let's go. So I'm gonna open the Football Centre, and as you can see there is a new interface, like UI is actually updated and given a better look, and it is. So if now we click on the matches and update our results. So we picked Liverpool and that game was draw, and in the last game we also picked Kumo and that game was draw also. So in the end we didn't really got anything out of those 2 games. We got the same point as losing team, so there is no really benefit of. And to be honest, in those 2 games I'm also seeing a very high chance of a draw.